The papyrus, put it on my table every month. I don't wanna miss it. Don't even try to hide it. No, I don't wanna lose it. And you see how it is, it's so inviting. The papyrus, we're all so online. The papyrus, put it on my tab every month.
Hello, welcome to the Papyrus TV Africa. My name is Dofan Abu, and today we're speaking to one of Nigerian's finest legislator. He has been a lawmaker for close to 2 decades. He's a very fantastic gentleman. But come with me, you will hear everything about himself from his mouth, and what he forgets to say, I will talk to you about it later.
I'm Honorable Garba Datti Mohammed. I represent Sabon Federal Constituency of Kaduna State and a member of this 9th Assembly, and by the grace of God, the Chairman Committee on Posts and Habit.
How can you define, or how can you tell us define a life of a legislator in the Nigerian atmosphere, political atmosphere?
The legislator is part of government, is one of the most misunderstood institutions in Nigeria, because it's the only institution that separates an authoritarian regime and a democracy. Because without legislation, you don't have democracy. There must be check and balances. But people do confuse executive and government. We are all government. Government has 3 arms, autonomous arms: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. So because of misunderstanding, people up to this moment, people don't understand our jobs. Because we make laws, anything, there is no country or no society that would exist without a law. We make the laws. The judiciary make the interpretation, while the execution lies with the executive. The most vulnerable. Because now if I go out, people are demonstrating, I'm a very soft target. I don't have any protection anywhere. But other elected people, they may have. The governor has, president has, vice president has, ministers have, and many others. Until people understand and appreciate what the legislators do, is then that things can change. And as I told you, when we at the advent of this democracy, this Fourth Republic, when we came, nobody even recognizes the legislature. When you go for a function, when the president is mentioned, vice president, secretary to the government, ministers, everybody there. Even if the Senate president is there or the speaker, they will be the one to come last. And we are doing the law. We said, okay, we have to change this perception. And we did the Order of Preference Act, which gives hierarchy to every segment of government. And we did that law. To some extent, we went to address some of these things. But even with that, we still have a lot of powers that are domiciled with the executives. But to take it back down to legislature is a problem. Delegated powers. So, and it's only here if people are demonstrating. If people are angry with any policy, they don't have where to go. They still come to us. Yeah. So these are some of the things, but gradually I think people are coming to understand. Like in budget, you will be told that we are padding budget. No, we don't pad budget. What happens, the Constitution said the president will now transmit or will bring an estimated budget to the National Assembly. They say estimate, not that they will just bring it so that it will be rubber stamped. Yes, because we go into the nitty-gritty. The president may not have the details of the budget, but when it comes here, it has to undergo legislative scrutiny. And we go on oversight. For instance, you can bring your budget. In your budget, it will say that we are going to purchase vehicle 500 million. But as a legislator, I must ask, you said vehicles 500 million. You do not tell me the quantity, and you do not even tell me which brand of vehicle are you buying.
Yeah.
I have to know. So we ask a lot of questions. Or when you bring your budget, your ministry may be a very critical place, or MDA. Then I see there are other places, maybe if it's a research institute, instead of putting the money in the research, then you bring a budget. For instance, you say you are building swimming pool for your staff. I'll say no, I'll remove it.
Put it where it's
I'll put it at the right place. Or there are instances where we go on oversight, then if something keep on coming every year, we go and find out. We have 260 federal constituencies. So the federal government cannot have project anywhere in these places. So as a spread, some of these things that you may underrate, maybe it's borehole, maybe it's a building of classes, some communities don't even have. Yes, with all this how they have the sense of belonging into the nation. Something that is missing in the military regime, nobody can speak on their behalf. Nobody can do anything on their behalf. So these are some of the difficulties we face as legislators.
And SARS is what is happening, and police brutality. That is the protest that has been going on for a very long time, for a while now. What is your take on what is happening in Nigeria, the restiveness that is happening because of this?
Well, truly there is a lot of tension. The issue goes beyond the issue of police brutality. As we can see, if it is only police brutality and SARS have been disbanded. Yes, but truly, Nigeria is a country of about 200 million people. And every year you produce nothing less than 1 million graduates of universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and other higher institutions. And the economy is not expanding. Government cannot give work to everybody. So in every country is the private sector that's mainly in manufacturing, in services, and others that employ people. So in our own case, maybe due to some bad policies before now, over time, you will find out that before SAP and even before some few years back, wherever you go to Lagos, Ilepeju, you go to Kano, you go to Bampai in Kano, you go to Sharada, you go to Kaduna, Kidanda Industrial Area, you go to Aba, many other places, Port Harcourt. We have industries that employs a lot of people. But over time, because of bad policy of government of the past, so most of these industries are no more in existence. Industry that employs 12,000 people, 8,000 people, they don't exist now anymore. And there is a lie we are telling ourselves that Nigeria is a rich country. Nigeria is a very, very poor country.
Really?
Yeah. if you go by our budget, if you go by our budget is just about $30 billion, which is not more than the budget of New York City Council. Not New York State. Yeah? It's not up to 1/3 of budget of poor countries like even Egypt, that has just 400 million people, but they have a budget of $90 billion. So where do you go from there? And you have a population of 200 million. And each sector needs the attention of government. Security, health, education, and many, many other things. Infrastructure deficit has to be addressed. So unless you put everything in order and attract foreign investment, people that will come and invest. And one of the conditions is to provide infrastructure, which is very lacking in this country. And I think this government is trying to address that issue, the issue of infrastructure. So there are many other things. So there is tension in the country all over. The young men you see on the street, some have graduated for many years without jobs. And as I told you, there is no place in the world where the government can employ everybody.
That's true.
But it's to create an enabling environment to bring people that will come and invest. We have places like Ajakuta State that has been there for almost 40 years. I could remember in the last assembly, after the debate, we were debating on the issue of Ajakuta. Honorable Amini Shagari, who was then a member, told me something. He said his father told him that this Ajakuta Steel Company, the Western people from Western countries are not comfortable with it. So they are saying that they don't want to have another Japan in Africa. After assisting Japan to be
what it is.
To be what it is, and Japan has overtaken most of them. So they are afraid because any basis for industrialization has to come through iron and steel. That's the basis for any industrialization anywhere.
Yes.
And this is where we need to put our priorities, because that place is capable of employing a lot of people, up to 30 to 40,000 people, if it's fully operational. And I think it will go a long way in reducing most of these tensions that we have. And many other sectors, tourism, but you can't develop tourism without peace, and many others. You bring foreign investors to invest, to get employment for our youths.
How can we get the industries working again?
There must be ease of doing business. There must be security. There should be infrastructure. I think this thing is not a rocket science. I think we can see how leadership can change things. Just go to Kaduna. Before now, Kaduna, we are rated as, we are even not even in the first 20 when it comes to investment destination. But now we are number 1 in Nigeria, because the government has worked seriously to attract. Within this short period, he has attracted almost $1 billion investment within the state. And things are moving, investors are coming. Despite the security issues, still investors are coming. Some of them you can see here along Kaduna, Abuja way, the Olam, who are into animal feeds, chicken and many other things, which are, they invested over $150 million. Dangote, in partnership with Peugeot, they are reviving that company. They are bringing new machinery, new factory will spring up. Even this issue of steel, I think the state is into partnership with some Indians. They have invested over $600 million, and people are getting jobs. So I think these are some of the policies we'll try and address, because it's only when you have industrialization that will be, because it's only industries that can employ large number of people. That's why China today, China in the last 40 years, China was just a developing country. It's not better than Nigeria and other places. But within a short time, China has now been transformed into an industrial giant. There is nothing that they don't produce. China is an industrial giant. If you could remember, even in the 90s, we have the Asian tigers when they are just coming up. Who are the Asian tigers? Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, Korea. These are called the Asian tigers, because within a short time they became industrialized. Korea, up to around 1960, 70, Korea is one of, South Korea in particular, is one of the poorest countries on earth. But today, Korea is among the richest countries. Yeah. All this Samsung we are using is from Korea. You see Kia, you see Hyundai, you see they manufacture ships, they manufacture a lot of things. They are into industrialization. India, a very, very poor country with over 1.3 billion people. But now, because of they reform their own education and they are industrializing, India has gone very, very far. There was a time they said they lifted over 600 million people out of poverty. So there is still hope. There are countries whose challenges are more than Nigeria today in the world, but they are able to surmount all those challenges and move forward.
Okay,
Look at a clear case even in Africa. In 1994, there was massacre of almost 1 million people in Rwanda.
Yes.
But just go to Rwanda today and see how that country has changed within a short time. So me, I will still appeal. Yes, it's good that the SARS have been disbanded, but even no matter how much we hate the police, we cannot do without them.
Not at all.
No matter what happens now, you still go to the police station. If they have excesses, yes, we try and address. And we look at their own problem too. The police welfare is almost zero. You can't give somebody a gun, you don't take care of him, then you send him to go and enforce law. You know there will not be peace. So we are also looking at that angle. The police should be given special attention, special training, giving good welfare, accommodation. People that lost their lives in the course of their duty, what will the government do for their families? So and many other things. We should not, the police are part of us. We are they are our brothers, our sisters, children, and many other things. And they have families too. But there are people who hijack such genuine, peaceful protests for other ulterior motives. We should be very, very careful. If we look at what has happened in recent past, the case of Arab Spring, look at Libya. Okay, they have killed Gaddafi, they have killed Saddam Hussein. Are those countries living in peace? Most of the people that instigated, where are they? They are out of the country. They just pack their family and leave it to be killing yourselves. Look at Syria. So it's not issue of when you just come and demonstrate, okay, you remove the government, you remove what, and then what next? Who do you have that to take over? What are see that can change things? If we are seeing the gory pictures, it's disheartening when you see young men and women crossing the Mediterranean, perishing in the Mediterranean Sea, trying to go to Europe. Because in most of their countries there is no peace. People are being killed, there is civil war all over. So you may find out that your former position is even better than your current position.
That's true.
That's right. Look at Libya, how the thing, they have the oil, but nobody can now sell the oil. Where do you sell it? Because the rebels are even holding that area. All of them are saying, is it not better with Gaddafi and we're living in peace?
It was far better.
Far better. Saddam Hussein, is it, since he was killed by Americans, do they have peace in Iraq up to this moment? All those countries were destroyed. If you see refugees in Greece, in Lesbos, in many other parts of Europe, you sympathize with them. A main thing is just what is happening here. Go to IDPs. So it's almost the same with people who are going on to Europe, thinking they are going for greener pasture. no matter how bad, your country is still better. And we, even as legislators, some of these issues can be addressed. Like there are certain items that you can remove from the exclusive legislative list to concurrent. For instance, things have changed. Yes, there is need for police, state police. Yes, we can remove it from concurrent to from exclusive to concurrent. There is issue of prison services, because what they argue, even in those days, most of these prison services are under native authority, not even the region. So that and most of the inmates are product of state high courts and magistrate courts, not federal high courts, not Supreme Courts. So issues like minimum wage. Yes, you cannot legislate on minimum wage. It depends on capacity of states. Some states up to now, the last one, not even the 18,000. The last one is it 12,000. So there are some states that cannot pay that, as I'm talking to you now. So it's based on the capacity of each state.
And you say Nigeria has potentials, but a common Nigeria where are they?
Yeah, why are somewhere?
How can we turn it around?
Yeah, we have very good educated people. We have vast land. We have no reason as a country to depend on foreigners to feed us. With a population of over 200, we are waiting for Thailand, we are waiting for Vietnam to feed us, to give us rice, while we have land that is more than 3 times of those countries, and we have the population. So why can't we be self-sufficient? Most of these things, one, we have to change our attitude.
Very important.
We have to change our attitude and believe in Nigeria and what we have, what we can do. We have to make sacrifices. It's not everything that is exotic. We have to make sacrifices to develop. You see, like, why do we need to be importing clothes in Nigeria? Bangladesh is one of the poorest towns in the world, but today is a major exporter of textiles. If you look at the value chain, we have the land, we have the farmers that can farm and give us cotton. You can take it, people that will transport it to ginnery. After ginning, you take it to textile. Then even from textile, people will come and buy. You have major marketers, you have retailers, wholesalers. So everybody, even local people that come to stay around that area to be selling food, you give them employment. So until we believe and we have the will to face our challenges, I think is what this government tried to do. One, trying to put infrastructure in place. This thing could have been done long time ago. This issue of rail lines, standard gauges, we should have done with them many years back. Electricity, we should be able to provide all these things over years. Then we attract foreign investors. Now, even if we want to go into solar, we have abundant sunshine that can take care of that.
That's true.
So why are we importing almost everything? Even pencil, we have to import.
So how do we turn all these things around then?
Oh, that's why we're saying is to create an enabling environment. Now this government is trying ease of doing business. People complain a lot that ease of doing business in Nigeria, investing is very high, because even coming to the ports, you find out that a lot of
Challenges.
tariffs, taxes, a lot of things you pay. So the government is trying to reduce all that so that people can now come. Instead of you using Cotonou ports or Lomé or Accra or Yaoundé. You come and use our own ports. We have it. When you lower it, people will bring their things. And most of these ports exist because of Nigeria. Because most of the things are coming there, then they are now smuggled into Nigeria.
Yeah.
I think that's why the government tried to block that you must use, if you want to bring, you must use our own ports.
Unrest in the area of Fulani and the people of the Fulani crisis in Zangon, Kataf, and Kajuru, and the rest of the places that they have there.
Well,
What do you have to say about this? And why do you think this crisis keep happening and happening and happening?
First crisis we have in Kaduna State that took the coloration of ethnic and religious crisis was the one that happened in March 1980 in Kasuwa Magani. Then there are subsequent ones like the Kafanchan of 1987, which started just between students. That somebody called Reverend Bako said he was preaching that he was a former Muslim and he was quoting from Quran. So Muslim students tried to disrupt and said, no, you are not, you are misquoting. And the thing started as a fight between students and now snowballed into the town. And the whole state was consumed by it. So all other, then there was the Zangon Katap of 1992, one in February, one in May, where over 2,000 people were killed in Zangon Katap. Mainly from the House of Fulani tribe, who the indigenous people there termed them as settlers. But this one that keep on recurring, most of the crises in the past happens mainly between the Hausas and the indigenous people, then it turned to religious. But this one happened after the 2011 election. When people rioted thinking that election was fully rigged, then it turned into religious crisis. There are Fulanis who are just on transit between Zankua and Kafanchan. Some of them, they don't even participate, they don't vote, they don't have voters card. So they were all massacred. Their villages were destroyed, their camps were destroyed, their cows were taken away. And some of them are not even Nigerians. So they came in the night, because the Fulanis mainly operate from the bush. They don't go through the main roads. They came, they retaliated. So the thing just became a cycle of violence. This will kill this, and there must be revenge. When you revenge, this one will revenge too. Even when Yakoa was there, of blessed memory, he tried to bring peace by getting some of these leaders to talk to them. Okay, now all this, there is no need for this bloodshed to continue. Both sides have lost their own people. Yes, we are complaining of cattle. We have lost a lot of cattle. Okay, we will pay you for the cattle that will bring peace, so that no human being will be killed again. After they agreed, so Yakowa died. The crisis keep on lingering. When Erufai came, he constituted a committee under the leadership of General Luka Agoy, who was the former chief of army staff, former chief of defense staff, and who is an indigene of that area and a Christian, to go and look for the root cause of this crisis and provide solution. So one of the recommendation is those Fulanis that they promise them they will pay them. I think the government should try and implement that. When the governor tried implementing it, He was blackmailed that is now paying his kinsmen to come and kill Christians. That's how the information was
Twisted.
yeah. So, and like the governor keep on saying, there are some associations who always benefit
Crisis.
in the crisis. There are groups that government pay money to keep peace, and there was no peace. So when it came, all those associations, tribal associations, religious associations that were giving money to keep peace in the name of peace, and the peace was not there, he said he's not going to pay them anything again. Violence anywhere can never bring progress. You have to live in peace with people, accept them, let everybody do his own business without molesting anybody or harassing anybody. Then there will be peace.
Okay.
If people still have the mindset that this is, you must leave my land, you must leave my town, go and, then when will you have the peace?
That's true. The president will be weak in 2023. Or not weak, but he will be old, very old, maybe going into retirement in 2023. For most people, he seems to be like the head that is holding the party together. Do you envisage any thing like the fall of the APC in 2023?
People look at their own interests. Even within any organization, you have people with different interests. Even within the PDP, it's not as united as you think. And other parties, they have their own challenges because there are people who have their own ambition. And this is the right time for them to start scheming. So you will be at collision with each other, even within the party. So people have started scheming, those who want to succeed in. So it depends on how matured we are able to handle the issue that will keep the party. And how are you ready to be just to everybody? That is just me, that's how I look at it. Yes. So, and a lot of things will determine what will happen as we are approaching, because new things can just be coming out, things that you don't even envisage before can come. Like what happened this year. The whole world, nobody ever envisaged there is something like Corona. Even the best scientists, the best babalawos, the best prophets that will forecast that something will happen. Nobody ever envisaged that you have one small virus that will disturb the whole world, destroy the world economy, destroy everywhere, our way of living, everything. Just so we don't know. But as I said, a lot of things will happen. Because now we have seen this, nobody knew that there will be this end of SARS. Protest. After it has been disbanded, people have continued. So we don't know how far. So let's wait and see what will happen in 2023. Yes, you may have your own plan, but God's plan will always prevail. And the circumstances of the time that will determine. Like this house, I did not have the intention of coming back. I went to contest for deputy national chairman of our party. Yeah. I was asked to withdraw at the last minute, and I withdrew. The governor said, come and contest for your seat. Again. You see, that was not my plan. But that's what I said, a lot of things can change, even in the last minute. We have seen it happening.
How would you describe your governor in maybe a sentence or two?
He's doing a fantastic job. Very, very fantastic. Go and see the urban renewal that is taking place in Kaduna State. Go and see how investors are now trooping into the state to invest. Go and see how a lot of innovation in governance. A state that generates between 7 to 8 billion in a year now generates, last year we generated 44 billion. That's why Kaduna State was among the 6 states that they graded as a state that are viable Even without federal allocation, they can still survive. So it's leadership that brings such things, bring investors, increase revenue generation, block loopholes, then you bring a lot of innovation into governance. Even this virtual conference, before the federal government starts it's Kaduna State that he started his own earlier. This was virtual conference. So it's a governor that goes with the time and the modernity in this country. We know the times are difficult, and even if you leave Nigeria, where will you go? So we should believe in our country, we should salvage it together, we should come together. Our youth, in as much as sympathize with them, and we are hoping with the policies in place, the government is trying to bring investors, to put infrastructure that will now make the economy to be diverse. People will get jobs. You have to secure the country in terms of security. Yes, I supported them with they demonstrated against SARS. SARS has been disbanded. Now they are bringing other things. They should relax. Let us not go the way of other countries. After the demonstration, yes, you may change the government. If you change government, then what happens next? We have seen it in Libya. After the death of Gaddafi, Libya is now worse than it was. Far. There is no even peace, nothing. Nothing is functioning. The same thing with Iraq, the same thing with Syria, and many other countries that have similar issues like that. So they should not be allowed to be used by some vested interests. If Nigeria is burning, people that are urging them to do it, they will pack their families and leave the country and take them overseas with some of them with the stolen money.
Thank you very much for having us. We appreciate.
The papyrus.